Are you ready to get in your garden, get your hands all dirty, and start planting? Well, I have got some things that you can start doing right now. The glory of gardening. Hands in the dirt, head in the sun, heart with nature. The nurture of a garden is to feed not just the body, but the soul, says Alfred Austin. I have no idea who that is, but that sounded cool. So you ready to plant those cold, hardy annuals? Number 1, you can plant cold, hardy annuals outdoors. Choose some that can take a light frost, such as pansies, dusty miller, sweet peas, calendula, and others. If unseasonably cold weather threatens, well, just cover those plants with a light sheet. Don't use plastic though, until the temperatures rebound. Make sure your cover is weighted down to keep it stable in windy conditions, and use stakes to keep it from touching foliage. Move potted flowers into protective location. Pro tip, if cold weather threatens, water the soil around your plant thoroughly. Wet soil holds the heat better than dry soil, and it'll help warm the air close to the soil surface. Tip number 2, inspect those houseplants. Keep your indoor plant pests, such as mealybugs, scales, and spider mites at bay by giving your houseplants a physical exam every time you water. These creatures thrive in the dry winter atmosphere of your home, and they can disfigure your favorite plants. Control pests with an insecticidal soap or houseplant insecticide. Tip: give your plants a weekly spritz in the shower to help wash off invading insect pests and to increase the humidity around the plant. Most indoor plants are tropical in nature, so the more humidity you can provide, the happier your plant will be. And tip number 3, plant a terrarium. If it's too cold to garden outside, well, why not design a garden under glass? To create a miniature jungle, look for clear glass containers that have a lid or a stopper that will help maintain a humid atmosphere around your plants. For plants such as succulents that prefer a drier climate, well, select a large open-mouth container. Then, look for plants that remain compact. Good choices for a moist environment include Pilea, peperomium, ivy, artillery fern, button fern, baby tears, creeping fig. For an open container, well, just try cactus and succulents. And pro tip, before you add soil, spread a layer of aquarium gravel over the bottom of your terrarium. This will facilitate drainage if you overwater, which I tend to do. Then place a layer of window screen over the gravel to help prevent the soil from washing down. Tip number 4, feed the birds. By late winter, many natural food sources for local birds will begin to thin out, so it's important to keep your bird feeders fully stocked until spring. Offer a variety of foods to attract the widest selection of bird species. Black oil sunflowers, for example, they draw the cardinals, the blue jays, the juncos, what's a junco? And many other species. And beef suet is ideal for woodpeckers, mockingbirds, and nuthatches. Niger seed is a finch favorite. Also include a diverse selection of feeders such as tube, hopper, and platforms to accommodate the feeding habits of different bird species. Can you tell I have no idea what bird species are out there, how to even pronounce them, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. So next tip. During winter, you can often attract more songbirds to fresh water than you can to food. Use a heater to keep the water in your bird bath from freezing and add fresh water every couple of days. And tip number 5, start seeds. Flowers and veggies can benefit from early start indoors, and then you can also use grow lights to help germinate your seeds. For the best results, use a soilless seed starter mix and hang growing lights just a few inches over the top of your plants. Use a timer to keep the grow lights on for about 12 to 14 hours a day. You can also improve your germination by using a heat mat underneath your plants and to keep the soil warm. After your seedlings are up and growing, feed them with a diluted solution of liquid fertilizer every time you water. Pro tip, try not to start your plants too early. Read the seed packs to find out how many weeks it will take for your plants to develop into the ideal size for your garden. And then count backwards from the last expected frost date to get an accurate start date. Did I point the right way? I have no idea. Number 6, plant cool weather crops. If you live in the south or the far west, you can plant cool weather veggies such as spinach, peas, Greens, onions, potatoes, lettuce, sweet chards, beets, carrots, and radishes. See, I can say all those things. To be sure your soil is ready for planting, squeeze a handful, and if it forms a tight, muddy ball, hold off on planting. Ideally, when your soil is squeezed, it should gently flake away and rub between your fingers. Pro tip: to increase harvest, plant in wide rows instead of single file. Use your hoe to create a shallow 6 to 10 inch wide planting bed. Toss your seeds and cover. It's easy, and you'll get much more produce than you would lining up your vegetables like toy soldiers. Tip number 7, prune your roses in late winter while plants are still dormant. That's the ideal time. Remove dead branches and any bloom stalks left over from last year. A good rule of thumb is to prune roses, except climbers, back by about 1/3. This promotes compact growth and improves the overall form of the plant. Climbers can be left alone unless you want to trim stray branches. And pro tip for this: good air circulation is important to maintain rose health. If your roses are growing into each other, prune them so air can flow between the plants. This helps prevent common fungal problems such as black spot disease. Tip number 8, add color indoors. Brighten the dark, dreary days of winter by bringing in some tropical plants such as orchids. These plants provide a welcome dose of color to every room in your home, and with minimal attention, orchids can stay bloomed for months. Pro tip: for best effect, place 3 or more orchids together in an ornamental pot or urn. You'll get bigger color show, and then the plants will also be easier to take care of because they aren't scattered around your house. One watering will take care of them all. And tip number 9, plant bulbs. Summer bulbs can be planted now. Site them where they receive at least 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight a day. Their only other requirement is well-drained soil that doesn't remain wet and soggy after heavy rains. Mulch the bulbs to protect them from unexpected cold snap and minimize the weeds. Pro tip: enjoy bulb flowers weeks early by purchasing pre-sprouted plants at your local garden center. Bulbs are a snap to grow, but some take a while to break dormancy, so potted plants will jumpstart the color show. And tip number 10, start a journal. Maintaining a garden journal is one of the best ways keeping tabs on how your garden is performing each season. Take notes of which vegetables tasted better, what roses had the most fragrant blooms, and the insects that gave you the headaches. Or maybe it was the container combinations that knocked your socks off. Write down everything you can think of, positive and negative, about your garden so you can refer to it as you prepare for another planting season. Also, make a point to take photographs of your garden every week so you can monitor its progress throughout the year. And pro tip to this: scan your plant tags and empty seed packets to make digital records of everything you garden. This can create a record of what's growing in your garden, and you won't have to physically save a mixed pile of tags and packets. And for more tips, check out this video next.